So we're here with the current candidate for welfare officer for UCDSU elections coming up this week. I'm delighted to be joined by Roisín O'Mara. Thank you very much.
No problem, Jonny. Anytime.
The first thing I want to ask you is just how's the campaign going? Because we are one day removed from voting. Has it been as expected, or has anything changed?
I came into the campaign expecting to be contested, which it turned out later on I wasn't. So it's going very differently to what I envisioned it to be. I think I operate in a very high level of stress anyway, so I'm quite used. I'm not too stressed out about it. It's going well. I've got people on the ground. My friends are very helpful. Everyone I know is being quite positive towards it, so it's going pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. I am looking forward to it all being done, though. Looking forward to being able to sleep again.
Yeah, that's it. And look, I'd say it's just a great opportunity to engage with students on a ground level, because when else do people, approach them, ask them for, advice on it, specifically to welfare? Like, have you found that you've had some good conversations with people, or anybody has brought forward any suggestions they like to see changed?
It really has, and more so now when I've announced I'm running. People have always come to me with suggestions of this kind of stuff. I am coming from a health science background, so people kind of assume I'm a caring person anyway, so they do come to me quite a lot anyway. But especially now since I'm running for welfare, a lot of people are coming to me with different suggestions for campaigns for next year and kind of queries and issues they want brought up. Because I'm quite approachable, because I'm very friendly, they have no problem doing it, and I have no problem chatting to them either. I love hearing what the students want to say, because I'm not on. For the past my degree program, I'm in the hospital for half of it, so I don't meet a lot of people outside of my usual group of friends, outside of my society stuff and my other stuff that I do. So it's great to meet just normal people, I guess. Normal people of the world.
That's true. Yeah. Now, welfare in particular, what appealed to you to run for welfare officer as opposed to the other sabbatical positions? Because from the outside looking in, it can be quite a demanding job, just given the implications and the amount of people that you would have to deal with. I'm not saying that the other sabbatical positions aren't equally as demanding, but just in one sense, why do you think that welfare suits you?
So I think welfare suits me because my interests have always lied with the person. So I'm a midwifery student. I would love to continue on my studies and maybe go into medicine or go into further other fields of healthcare as well. I've always been interested in how a person is, and how well they are as an entire person, not just their physical health or their mental health or who they are bar that. I've always been interested in how the person is as a whole. So that's kind of what encouraged me to run for welfare as opposed to anything else. All the SPAT positions are great. I just felt welfare really played to my strengths, and I could really do great stuff with it. I've great experience from working in a hospital for 4 years. Great experience in dealing with people and dealing with the stress and the strains of it. And I think I can certainly come at it from a different point of view than what it has been in the previous years, where it's been not a student of health science doing it.
Yeah.
So
no, I think it's important that you do run for a position that is runs with your personality and whichever role you think you're most capable of. And obviously, from listening to your personality traits, just your course, being in health, you're training up to be somebody helping someone on a full-time basis.
Yeah, that's
so
the
being
thing.
welfare officer seems quite fitting.
I really do care very deeply about people. I do want everyone to be as happy as they can be and as fulfilled as they can be as well. So that's why I'm such a sap. That's why I think think welfare suits me. I really care about people. It's really bad.
There should be more people like that in the world. Let's be honest. Just you mentioned earlier there you were spent 4 years in a hospital. You're a midwifery student.
I am
now.
indeed,
You're in your 4th year of your studies. Just tell us how that experience has been. You're on placement at the moment, I believe.
I'm on placement at the moment, so I'm on my internship now. So the last stretch of it. The course is challenging. I will certainly say that. So my original intention wasn't to do midwifery at all. I wanted to do medicine and unfortunately missed out on that. So midwifery was the next thing on my CAO. So I came into UCD in first year not knowing anybody. I'm from Tipperary, so lots of my friends went to UL or to UCC. Very few came here. So I was really coming here on my own. And meeting with people and getting the experience of being in the hospital was amazing. As sappy as it sounds, I play such an important role in women's lives. Yeah. I am the person who delivers their baby, which is a huge responsibility. It's I am the very first person to hold or touch a brand new person, which is really weird when you think of it.
Any slip up can, have an effect for the rest of their life.
Any slip up can, not even like a slip up in that I don't do something correctly, even something like I say something incorrect, that can have such a huge implication for the experience this woman and her partner has, so it's a lot of responsibility in that matter, as well as the responsibility of being a healthcare professional, looking after two people, one that you can't see who's still in the mother's womb, and the mother herself. And the experiences haven't always been good. There's been some very, very sad cases I've been involved in, as well as the very happy ones. So I've done the whole rounded thing.
You've been through, a difference of emotions.
Yeah,
that
and
I'm sure you will face, if elected
absolutely,
in the coming years. So
and
definitely
everybody is very different as well. So that's something I've also learned. It's emotionally and physically challenging, as well. 13-hour shifts they're long owl shifts to be standing in a pair of Birkenstocks, but it's certainly something I would absolutely do again. I'm a much nicer person for doing it. I'm much harder working, and it's really just proved to me that how important making good experiences for people. So. And I really love it. It's a really nice course. Brilliant. I mean, I get to cuddle babies and hand them back to their mammy. It's really nice.
That should be a selling point on itself.
Well, that's my campaign manifesto. my campaign hashtag delivering babies and promises.
Well, look, if that's going to instill confidence in the students, I think it probably will. Outside of midwifery, have you had a chance over the last 4 years to engage with any sort of societies or groups?
Yeah, so this year especially, I've kind of taken to debating. Again, I don't know if you can tell, but I like talking. So I did do debating in secondary school, stopped when I came to college because I had a bit of I saw these wonderful people who were great at debating, who had done like schools, and I kind of lost my bottle a bit, but I got back into this year. And I love it. It's really good. I apparently I'm good at arguing with people. Who would have thought?
I really admire people that, you're in your 4th year. People that kind of, delve into maybe something a little bit different and outside their comfort zone so late into their college course. It's something that, what's kind of brought you onto it to think in your 4th year, like, maybe I'm assuming your midwifery is a 4-year course.
It is, yes, 4-year.
In your 4th, what kind of said to yourself, geez, I've got 1 year left, I should definitely do this. Was it something that was on the bucket list early in college that you wanted to go back into, or was it just out of chance you decided, hey, I'm going to go to this, open evening or something? And
I think it was a bit of both. I think that I certainly always wanted to do it, just never really did it.
Yeah.
Like, in second year I was very busy with college, so I didn't do it then, and like in 3rd year last year I was on placement in my first semester, so I wasn't there to join Freshers Week, and I wasn't around for Refreshers Day either. So it just happened, the friends I had going into 4th year, as well as I was just kind of in the right place at the right time as well, and that I had done debating before and was decided that really I should get that my arguing skills would be put to very good use if I did it in a more structured way. So I just did it because I thought it'd be fun, and I was right, and I've made some really great new friends through it. I've made friends with the LNH and the Law Society, and it's really speaking to the freshers as well. Yeah. Really great to do it. So
definitely, like with Law Soc and LNH, they have such an engagement throughout the years.
They
do. It's great to expand the horizons and get to know people in different years.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take a bit of a turn in the interview and talk about some of the harder issues.
Okay.
And obviously, in conjunction with the the SU elections over the next couple of days, there's an important referendum regarding the USI.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have an opinion on the USI first of all? And if you do, would you like to elaborate on it?
I certainly do have an opinion on USI, but as someone going for an election, I don't think it's fair of me to put my opinion out there to an extent where others will be influenced by it. I want people to make their own mind up because it's their choice. It's their democratic right to vote, and I feel my saying anything, it could just be me thinking a lot of myself, but I feel my saying anything could be seen as, kind of veering more towards one side or the other. So whatever the students want to do, once they come to their own decision, I am more than happy to support whatever they want, because it's their union, it's their referendum. I will certainly vote in it, but it's their referendum, and whatever they want to do, I am more than happy to go with that.
And I think that's a fair point, and that is a stance you have held over the last couple of weeks, because you made it quite clear at hustings. It's not just something, on the eve of the referendum, you've just decided to. It's something you've,
well, that's it. I mean, my opinion as a student matters, but my opinion as someone going for an election about this issue, matters a whole lot less.
Yeah.
Because it's what the students want.
Because one way or another, you know, you're going to have to face democracy next year, and if they vote yes, you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, and if they vote no,
no, you're going to have to deal with it equally the same way. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. Now, looking back on this year's SU team, you know, personally for me, it was the first year I was involved in the SU, and when you're on SU Council, you really get to engage with, obviously, the SU and with the campaigns they run, the effort that the sabbatical team put in, and, you know, looking back, I have very few criticisms of, you know, obviously, you know, they're not going to be perfect. You're not going to have a team that's going to achieve everything they set out to do, but I have been, you know, forwarded a lot of praise towards them. But some of the main criticisms that were, you know, directed towards the sabbatical team surrounded the UCD 200 scandal, which is quite a, you know, a tough issue, albeit it gave a lot of us here at Belford FM a lot to talk about on the shows for the week preceding it. But what is your take on the situation, and how do you think it was handled?
So my take on the situation, because I wasn't on campus when it came to light, I was on placement, so I didn't really get the whole blow of it. I got kind of the back end of it from my friends and, you know, hearing what was going on. So my take on the situation is that it's, I suppose it's a difficult one to kind of deal with for the SU to deal with, because whether how much fact it was founded on, how much, you know, that's a whole different conversation itself. I would be very hard pressed to criticise the SU for that, because it is incredibly difficult to manage that at any point. And I have every confidence in the team that they did their level best to do what they could, because they're a really great bunch of people who work their asses off to help students in UCD and do what they want to do, do what they set out to achieve. So I think we have to remember, it's very easy to stand aside and criticise when we weren't the ones dealing with it, when we weren't dealing with students and with outside influences and with university officials. Very easy for all of us to say, well, you know, it was good or bad, the reaction. I certainly think that they did their best, and there was a lot going on underneath that this general population of UCD didn't see. Like, I've no doubt they did what they could.
Okay.
And I'm very happy with what they did, because we have to remember as well that this isn't really something that has been happened before. You know, it's a new thing in UCD. Well, not a new thing. I mean, it coming to light in such a manner is a very, very new thing for UCD. And these people in SPAT positions are only here for a year. There's only so much experience they have to draw on. So
it's a difficult issue to address, because it did lack clarity in a way in terms of the allegation itself. But my feeling on it was that it was not necessarily a bad thing, regardless of whether what was brought up was true or not. You know, it got people talking. It got people, you know, addressing the issue of consent on a wider scale. And while some people some target groups in UCD may have been, you know, on the worst end of things, I really think it just got the student population as a whole discussing the whole idea of consent and having their opinion on it, whether it was on one side or the other. But then I suppose, if I can readdress it, the idea of consent is something that UCDSU have really tried to rally through with their campaign and not asking for it. And they had the slut walk as well. Is something, and I'm sure that is something that will be relevant to your welfare officer role.
Absolutely.
You know, is that a focus of yours next year? I assume you'll want to carry over the work
consent,
done by
absolutely. I think consent is always an issue. It's an issue that needs to continue being brought to light through the year, because it's not, you know, just like consent is a dynamic in itself. It's an issue that needs to be spoken about the whole time, and people need to be constantly reminded of it. So that's certainly something I will be continuing next year. Something
I don't want to do as well is just ask you, you know, what plans or what, you know, what campaigns have you organised already for consent? Because you're not in the position of welfare officer at the moment. It's not something I'm going to ask you, because trust me.
Well, no, it's fine. I mean, I have lots of ideas of what I need to do, but just because I'm not there just yet, I'm not in any place to make any official inquiries.
It's very hard to follow through.
That's it, and I don't want to be making promises to people that I can't follow through on, unless it's a really good excuse as to why I can't, really good reasons to why I can't follow through. So I've been throwing ideas, I've been jotting ideas down. I've got a big doodle doc of things, not doodle doc, a Google Drive of things that I'm going to do, what I want to do rather. But I think it's important that people need to realise in this election phase, you know, I can say lots of things and I can only do my best to deliver them.
Now, one thing I did want to address, and this is kind of more on my end, don't worry Rush, I'm not going to get your opinion, was just towards the the makeup of it. And with Grania of the Observer, I felt she worded the questions well, and it's nothing personal against James Green or Conor Rock, who made up the rest of the panel, but it just felt to me like Grania, first and foremost, she's a journalist. She's the editor of the University Observer. I think that panel should have been made up of Grania, Sean O'Reilly, who carries himself excellently, co-editor of the Tribune, and then a representative from Belford FM. We interview people on a daily basis. It is something we're used to. It's something we're able to word. While it is nice to kind of draw up a bit of drama and try and expose some of the weaknesses, I guess, of some of the candidates, I thought that the questioning was very vague, very long-winded. Roisin, we can't have this interview without delving into your campaign.
Of course.
And you're excellently laid out there for people to read, and I scanned over it earlier. One of the main things you want to introduce is health check campaigns. Do you want to elaborate on that?
So again, because I'm a health science student, I of course physical health is something that's very, very important to me. I especially want to take on, when I was looking at the constitution of UCD, it's a job of welfare officer to kind of achieve effective health promotion in UCD. So health promotion for me isn't just, looking after yourself and eating well, it's also how to look after yourself physically. So when we all come to university, we are all 18, 19, the vast majority of us are all quite young. We're just out of secondary school. We have no idea how to wash our clothes, let alone how to look after ourselves. I mean, personally, I still don't know how to wash my clothes. I've ruined many a white shirt on a daily basis. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason I don't wear matching socks. I can't find them. So the health check campaigns, what I'm kind of focusing on are a more preemptive role of a welfare officer as opposed to just a reactive role. So stuff like screening programs, very simple stuff like a self-check campaign. So women, while it's more common in later years or once you're past your 20s, breast cancer is quite terribly common. So just simple stuff like how to check your breasts, kind of check for testicular cancer. Very simple stuff like that, just so you get in a good habit now, which you continue on later in life.
It's very important that, because as you mature in college, you mature as a person. And it's something that, the further you are in your college degree, the more you become aware of those type of things. And I think people are kind of nearly too scared to delve into it and to think of who do I approach to ask these sort of questions. So that's something we're trying to make more accessible.
It's a very scary thing as well to kind of even think about kind of examining yourself and go, well, what if I do find something? What happens? What do I do? Where do I go to? What's the process from there? And it's a thing that while I know the process, I'm quite comfortable with it. A lot of people who aren't in my lovely health science building don't know. And that's something I have found and I'm really quite shocked about. I mean, even stuff like the cervical screening program that is, women when they're 25 can go on to and are encouraged to go on to and get smears every couple of years. I mean, people don't know about this and people don't show up to them. It's something I really want to kind of educate people on, because their health is so important. Not just their mental health or their physical health, the whole person. To be healthy, you need to be well in yourself entirely. That's something I really want to bring into campus, and like health check, even stuff like diabetes check, listen to me, diabetes checks, that kind of stuff. Really simple stuff that everyone needs to know and everyone should know. So that's my health rant over.
That's your health rant over. Well,
that's it.
Look, you're coming from a health background, so obviously
kind of to be expected, really, isn't it?
The forefront of your campaign. Another aspect of your campaign that I found interesting and obviously quite relevant this week because you're on placement is student engagement with people on placement. Do you think there's just too much of a divide between people on placement and people in the university?
Not so much a divide. I just think it's very easy for students who are on placement to fall by the wayside through no fault of anybody, just that we're not here. So if we're not here to represent, it's easy to not forget about it, just to not acknowledge us as much, I suppose. So I mean, I've spent half of my degree, I've been on placement. So I've effectively spent 2 years in a hospital. So and there's been times I felt neither part of the hospital nor part of UCD, to be honest. And I don't want other people to feel like that. So I would love to get better engagement with student placement and go to visit them in the hospitals, or obviously if the directors of midwifery and nursing and medicine are okay with that, or just to make the effort to kind of be like, hey, I'm around if you need me. I mean, the student advisors have been fantastic with that the last couple of years, emails saying the supports on campus are still available to you, but I just don't think it's sufficient. I mean, if you have a really crappy day in the hospital, which happens because it's a hospital, you need someone to turn to, and quite often you need to see someone to listen to you rant and rave and upset and be upset and have a cry if you need to. So that's something I really want to get involved with, get going for everybody. It's something that I am passionate about. I am just like it's, you know, there's been times that I could have really used someone to chat to.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody, so that's something I want to try my best to provide to people.
When I ask these questions, you know, I'm sure you're kind of thinking in your head, Christ, I wish I could just start this, you know, begin now, you know, begin putting the preparation into these campaigns.
Absolutely.
So look, we've delved into a number of aspects of your campaign. Fast forward a year's time, you know, you're finishing up as, if deemed elected, obviously that goddamn Ron could, you know, override everything.
The M said the N is important.
Rom
my second
Ron.
name, I know that went well there.
Looking back on your time, if you're elected, what is the one thing that you look back on that you just, not just one particular campaign or one particular aspect of your manifesto, one thing that you want to say to yourself in a year's time that, you know, I'm happy with blank?
Okay. Oh God, this is a bit out of the vein. Let me just think.
And we'll get this footage for 1 year's time.
To go, this is what you said.
Yeah.
Why didn't it happen? I suppose what I want most out of this year is for people to feel like there is someone here who cares, who really gives a damn about what they want and that they're okay. That is what I want to do as well for officer. Whatever about the campaigns, whatever about my manifesto. I mean, if I get it all done, fantastic, that's an extra bonus. What I really, really want is for people to feel like there's someone here on this campus who always cares about them and always wants them to be well and is always available to talk to them if they need someone to talk to. And, you know, who is more than happy to go and have a cup of tea with them and see what I can do for them. That is something I really, really want. I
have the utmost confidence that you will achieve that in a year's time, and, you know, very best of luck with your battle. Rom versus Ron, that's going to be interesting next couple of days, see how it plays out. But, you know, I'm very much of the belief, as you touched on earlier, that I'm just looking forward for these elections to be over. First and foremost.
Can't wait to sleep.
Excellent. Well, look, Roisín, thanks a million for coming in and chatting to us.
Problem.
This is Loose Men, and we are going to go back to one of our usual segments. So thanks, Roisín, for joining us. If you would like to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/loosemen. We are now also on Twitter @loosemen_. If you want to contact us during the show, you can contact us via the Contact the Studio tab on the homepage of the belfieldfm.ie website.